Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to start off with a question. Are you new to WordPress? If yes, then we'll show you how to build your first website super fast with the Nextr theme. So we're going to talk about why is Nextr perfect for beginners? Well, it's lightweight, it's easy to set up, and there aren't any hidden complexities. And we're going to go into how simple it is to install and customize everything and make a simple page. All right, so we're going to assume that you've installed WordPress on your website, on your domain, you've assigned it to it, and it's already hosted. And now we're going to start off with actually installing the Nextr theme itself. So this is your dashboard. When you show up, some stuff will appear on here, and we just close these just to keep things a bit cleaner looking. And you're going to want to head over to the left-hand sidebar, over to Appearance, and click on Themes. Now you can see that we have a bunch of themes over here, Nextr's over here, but again, assuming that you don't have it installed yet, you're going to want to click on Add Themes and then search for Nextr, and then Nextr is going to appear right here. And there's two options, there's Nextr FSE and just the Nextr Standard. So let's go ahead and hover over this, and it will say install rather than activate because we've already have it installed here. So all we're going to do now is click on activate. Clicking on install will install it, and eventually after that you'll be prompted to activate it. And then it's going to download the Nextr extension, and we're going to want to click on activate Nextr extension. And from here we have our Nextr extension up and running, and we're going to go ahead and enter plugins, and let's click on add plugin, and there's going to be a bunch of plugins to look for. If we search Nextr, this will show up. Right, we have Nextr extension and we have Nextr blocks. So we're going to want to use Nextr blocks, and since we already have it installed, we're just going to update it. And then since it's updated, let's go ahead and click on this. And we can click on activate. Alternatively, you can head over to your plugins tab over here. And if you scroll down here, Nextr blocks, it's activated. We have Pro here, but for this video, don't worry about this. You'll see here that under Nextr blocks, we get a new tab on our left-hand sidebar that we have our dashboard over here. We have our blocks, and you can see there are a bunch of blocks that are locked because we are on the free version. So if we look at this over here, you see we still have a bunch of different blocks that we can use, and it's more than enough to get us started. And we have freemium. These are free blocks, but you're going to need to pay a separate service, a third-party service to use them, more or less. And then these are the pro ones, and they're really great to use, so it might be compelling. They're also very easy to use. It might be compelling for you to buy Nextr Pro. So for this video, we're going to stick with the free ones, and they're more than enough to get us off the ground. So we are back on our dashboard. If we visited our site, you'll see that there's nothing found on here, right? Not even a default homepage or anything like that. So if we went back to our dashboard, with usual WordPress site, you'll have some, usual easy to use theme. You'll have a bunch of edit icons, and you can replace all of the default placeholder images, but sometimes that could be overwhelming, especially if you want to start from scratch. If there's too much stuff to replace, you'll end up deleting it. It won't even look the same if you don't have too much content to put on there anyway. So this is a very bare bones and lightweight theme that's also very powerful because it's so flexible. So let's start. Instead of adding a page, right, if we want to have a home page, we're going to use the Nextr extensions theme builder to create a home page template. Now, you can see here in the theme builder, we have a few different tabs here: sections, headers, footers, breadcrumbs, hooks, singles, archives, and 404 pages. And let's click on Add New Template. And there are a few different ones to choose from. Again, header, footer, breadcrumb, hooks, sections, singular, and archives, and 404 pages. Now let's click on singular, and let's name it home. And let's click on next, and it's going to ask us where we want this template to be. Now we can, include, exclude, the front page or all pages, right? So if we want this to be how all of our individual pages look like by default with headers and so on, we can select on all pages. But since we're going to make a front page, a home page, we're going to select front page, and this will be where we start. Okay, so this is going to be our front page template, and we'll explain a few things as we move forward. So you can see here we have different preview items and different preview IDs. So if we can think of basically what is a template is something that allows us to repeat certain patterns. So if we were to make a page, right? If we went back to our dashboard over here and we made a page, right? We'll look at all pages. If we made one page that had certain images or data on it, let's say we have a different homepage for Christmas or for weekends and a different homepage for weekdays, we can alternate between those but keep the same homepage template. So let's go ahead and just customize this real simple, because we're trying to get started here. So with a simple homepage, we won't worry about thinking of this as a template for the moment. We're going to treat this as a single page. So this area right here is called the block editor, or more specifically, the Gutenberg block editor. And this is the default one that comes with WordPress. There are some third-party ones called Beaver Builder, Elementor. You've probably heard of those in your search for WordPress tutorials, but let's not worry about that. The stock one, it's adequate for most things. And in fact, many themes just use the stock block editor. So let's navigate this as complete beginners from right to left. So sometimes this might come open for the first time without anything except your title over here, right? You can change this if you wanted to. And over here we have our block area, right? So we can type words here, letters, and it's going to end up becoming a paragraph by default, right? Or we can click on the plus icon over here and we can manually add different things. But more on that in just a bit. Now, on the top right over here, it says, we can save the draft. We can change our view here for desktop, tablet, and our mobile. You can see it changes, and self-explanatory down here, preview in a new tab. And over here we have settings, which brings up this right-hand sidebar. So depending on the theme that you're using right now, because we're in the theme builder, right, which is based off of the WordPress block editor, some items here are omitted. So let's not worry about that. And you can see here we have our block area, and this will be very important in just a bit. And beside that is the Nexter customizer, and there's a bunch of presets over here, right, for letters, headers, and colors. We can configure that later. And we have the publish button here, which saves it and then uploads it, makes it live. And we have other options here, which are a bit more advanced, and you can go deal with these as you please. Next here, we have our edit condition button. Again, this is for the theme builder in particular. And then here we have our title. We can add some commands here. We can copy and paste stuff between websites. Okay. This is a feature for Nexter that's part of Nexter. And this is your list view and outline. And you can see as we add things, I'm going to highlight this, they're going to appear over here. So you don't have to just click on them randomly. You don't have to rely on that. You can find them here in a hierarchical manner. And over here, last but not least, we have our block inserter. Click on this and you can see there are so much blocks to use. And The top ones are going to be the Nextr ones, obviously. And if we scroll down, we'll see the default WordPress ones, and these work just fine. But the cool thing about third-party ones, right, external ones such as Nextr, is that they give you so much features. So, for instance, we have advanced heading, right? You can design it from scratch, and you can see there are so much options over here. Now, if we were to scroll down here and drag and drop the default WordPress one, you can see we don't have too many options. So this is why you would want to use a third-party theme such as Nextr, because it's so powerful. So let's go ahead and make this look pretty, and let's call this a all you have to do is just click on these. And type your input. And you can see here we can change the title, we can change the position of the subtitle, we can change the alignment, we can change the text limit, right? We can change the style, right? We can change how wide the separator is, what color the separator is, right? We can change what the dot is, what color the dot is, and we have tags for our main title, right? We can also change the typography manually, right? We can change it to Times New Roman, change the line height, font style, right? Overline, underline, and we can also change the color, change the margins and padding. So, for instance, right, it gives us a space all around. We can add a border to this, border color, border radius, and the subtitle is going to be just the same, probably heading 2. And then for the color, let's go ahead and change this, probably to green. All right. And let's go and click on Publish. Now, with that saved, let's head over to our home page, and nothing is on here. So, real simple, we're going to go ahead and return to our dashboard, right? We're going to go down to Pages, and let's add a page. Now, with this, we're going to go ahead and leave it blank, and we're going to go ahead and title it Home Page. Okay, and then over here, there's some dots. Uh-oh. Let's go ahead and publish this real quick. Let's go ahead. Oh, there you go. And let's go ahead and set as our home page. And once we return over here, we have our home page set up using this, using our theme builder. Okay, so what if we didn't want to deal with the theme builder? So let's show you something real quick. So we have our pages here. Let's head over to there, and let's head over to the theme builder, right? We have our home page over here, and we have our home page, our live site right here, right? So this is blank, and because this is active, it's displaying on here. Now, let's add some real simple thing, right? Like, let's add a heading, right? Test. I'm going to put heading 2 on there, and we're going to center it up. We're going to click on Save. And you're going to see that once we reload this, nothing happens because our template over here draws over it. So let's go ahead and disable this and reload our site. And by default, it's going to display this test input. So if you don't want to go through the theme builder, right, if you just wanted to manually select which homepage you want, you'd have to do this. But let's say we wanted to switch between this or a different one, and let's go ahead and do that in a bit. So this means that nothing's enabled, and this is probably pretty good to keep on here keep something on here just to know that we have something disabled in our theme builder. So let's keep it at that. And let's make a simple About Us page in order to demonstrate how simple it is to get ourselves started. Okay, so just the same as this, let's go ahead and add a new template. So we're going to enable our coming soon one. Just to keep things simple, all right? So if anybody visits the website right now, it's coming soon. Now let's create a new template, right? We're going to select singular, and we're going to call this us, okay? And then let's click on next, okay? And front page, all right. So now we're going to be brought over to the block editor, and let's go ahead and start populating our page. So let's head over to the block inserter, and one of the core blocks here is this one called a container, right? So there's a few options to choose from. We can just go with grid, and you can see that there are a few different to choose from. So let's go ahead and stick with this one, and it gives us cool places to, well, predefined spaces to put our blocks to keep things organized. So you saw earlier there were the ones where there were 3 vertical columns and so on and so forth. Let's stick with this. So here, let's go ahead and drag and drop a heading into here. And you can just click on the plus icon. You can search for these. And let's put an image over here. And down here, let's put a paragraph. Okay. Let's design this from scratch. And let's upload an image. Now you can either upload an image manually here, upload files, select files, and it'll be uploaded to your media library, which is connected to your dashboard backend. We already have a bunch here because we have gone through different themes to teach you guys how to use them. So we're going to go over here and we're going to look for one of our personal ones here, one of the website assets, digital classroom pictures. And, well, you can probably search for it. I don't think I organized that far ahead. Or did I even upload any? That is the question indeed. Okay, you know what? It's totally fine. Let's go ahead and select one of these. Probably this one. All right. And that should be fine. Let's go ahead and close this. And let's call this About Us. And let's center this. Let's change the tag. And grid item settings. Here is where we will find where to arrange this. There we go, About Us. And we can change the column width. All right, so. And then the row height, we can make it a bit smaller. There you go. And here again, let's take a look at our document overview. So we have our containers, and each one has their own respective blocks in them. So if we wanted to change the row height and the alignment, we'd have to click on container. And then for heading, here it gives us different options for where to put it. And as you can see, if I left, middle, or right justify it, it doesn't work because the container is constraining where our block is going. Okay, and we can also change the style. We can add a background to this. Let's go ahead and put a background color onto this. Okay, and then when we hover over this, let's turn it lavender. Okay, and there's so many other options that you can go through with this. So now next, let's go ahead and mess with this next container. Grid item settings, just center everything. And then for the image, we can change the maximum width, which changes the size in general. Image width, captions. There's some special options, right? But some of these are paid features, but not really important since we're starting out. And then for the paragraph, here you go. We have our title. Oops. Yeah. We are website assets. Okay, and then we can change this to a different semantic tag. And for the paragraph, we can change the alignment for all of these. And we can insert our own text over here. But we won't do that since it already has some default text over here. And let's remove this. There we go. We can change how many columns there are, right? Just one. Oop. And we can change the column gap. We can cap it. You can see over there. And we can change the text over here. So you can see we have a few different options here. I'll go ahead and change up the title one to be heading 5, and you can see we have different colors over here, right? And you have style. We can change the typography, but these are the default ones, and we're going to show you how to change the default colors and default typography in a short bit. So there's our About Us page. Let's go ahead and click on Publish, right? And if we reloaded our site, it's going to appear on there. But if it doesn't, let's head back over to our theme builder here. And you can see this one draws over because it's newer. Let's go ahead and disable this to avoid any conflicts. And we should be golden with that. And you can see we hover over this. And that's all good. Now, if we were to enable the first one and disable this About Us one, it's going to show the Coming Soon one. And it might take a while to reload everything by default. So sometimes it might not display right because we have our cache over here. But that should be fine. Let's go ahead and re-enable the About Us page, About Us template that is, and we'll be brought to this. Okay? Okay, so there we are. We've basically taught you how to make 2 pages, a Coming Soon page and an About Us page, using simple blocks using Nextr and the Nextr theme. And not only that, we've shown you how to alternate between the two of them using the Nextr theme builder. Now, if we were just to use the standard page options, then you'd have to manually select which one you want. So this is what makes this a very powerful theme and very lightweight as well, that you can just click on the toggle button, the little slider checkbox switch thing, and we have a different page on here. Now, this is super basic, and we're going to get into all sorts of things such as having menus and headers and footers, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. So again, earlier we were messing about with heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, H3, paragraph, div, and the colors and the text. What if you could do all of those automatically? So you can see over here on the top toolbar, we have this button called Customize. Click on that. Alternatively, we can head over to our dashboard, and down here under Appearance, we have a Customize. Okay, it's going to take us to the WordPress Customizer, and here is where some of the magic happens. Now, again, you don't have to worry about these in general. Most themes can be edited from here, but again, with the templates and the themes, with the Nextr theme, this basically makes it moot, but our general options are going to be here. So let's take a quick peruse of the options. So general, container, we can change the sizing for things. Here we go. We have narrow, we have wide. And it doesn't really change too much on here unless we mess with the padding. There you go. Now it makes a big difference, as you can see, right? And then we can change the page container default to wide to this, right? And you can see it all changes it. And we have all of these different ones for single post, single archives. And then for our header, we can enable or disable the header since we don't have one on here. And over here we have the footer, and you can see we have this one, and we can disable this, and it looks a bit cleaner. And again, we can customize what it says on there, but that's a topic for a different video. our sidebar, our body style. We can change the background if you wanted to, but usually if it's a reading site, just keep it on white or gray to make it easy. And then our selection color, you can see here, let's make this red or orange, and then let's make our text color white. There you go. That's customizing, all right. And then we have our site identity. We can select our logo from here. And for sure, we have some of our own ones right on there. And let's crop that image. Probably should have clicked on skip. And there it is. It probably won't display. All right, there you go. There it's displaying. And we can change our site title. Oops. And you can change your site icon over here, what this little nubbin is for. Let's select that. Okay. Oops. Did it even select? Select. Okay, there you go. And there you go. It's already changed for us. And we have our styling colors. So we have our body text, right? As you can see, if we change this, it will change for the whole website. Every single one that's highlighted as P will be this color. Link color, hover color. For links, we don't have any links over here. And you can see over here, we have heading colors. So heading 1, we can make it red, right? And then this one was 5, was it? Yeah, it is. So let's go and make it this green. And you can see it changes. And whatever we select on here, if we were to type a heading, and as you saw earlier, by default, the headings were blue. That's because they come as heading 3 by default. And you'll have to change which headings they are manually on the right-hand sidebar over there in the editor. Okay, for typography, the same thing, right? We can change what fonts we use for our default ones. Font sizes, we can change what they are by default, right? Line height, again, really depends on your website. You can make them all caps, capitalize them, make them all lowercase, right? And you can see that if we selected font size as EM, it kind of messes things up. So let's go ahead and make everything 30. And it's going to take a while for this to reload, by the way, just so you know. All right, so let's go ahead and change the preview over here. Right? And it transforms as well, depending on what you select. Right? You can also change the font weight. There you go. Make it thicker. And then the same thing with our headings over here. So this one was heading 1, I believe. And let's go ahead and scroll down and just select a random font. And there you go. It changes. We can change the font size, make it all caps. You name it. And the same thing for every single one of these. And then for the pages, single page, you can hide the featured image. And this isn't a featured image, by the way. That's something you set up on your pages. And we have our blog, our menus, our widgets, and our homepage settings. Here are our homepage settings. We can select which one will be our homepage here. But again, with the theme builder, it makes it easy to organize which one, right? And we can select our post page. But let's not worry about that. Okay, additional CSS, that's pretty advanced. Let's go and click on Publish and take a look at our live site. So here is our live site. We've added our logo, our branding icon over here, and to display our site title and tagline, we're going to have to mess with the headers later on. But here is our simple website with a simple About Us page and nothing else. And sometimes that's all you need just to get started. So there's making a brand new website from scratch in WordPress using the Nextr free theme. Wasn't that so easy? Now for all of the other things, headers, footers, blog posts, archives, you name it, e-commerce, we're going to be talking about those in different videos. If you found this video helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, as it really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. Show this kind of video to other nerds like us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you want to know where to get the blocks that we used in this video to make forms real simple, real easy, check out the link in the description. It'll take you to the website of Nexter where you can get the Nexter blocks yourself. Now, if you check out the pricing, they have 3 different levels: starter, professional, and studio. We recommend getting the studio one because it's a one-time payment. It's lifetime. You get all the blocks. So you don't have to worry about not having the right blocks to get what you need done. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one. Hey, if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out one of our other videos, or go ahead and check out our channel and subscribe to see more content like this.